Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Dave and welcome to the DLA Minute again, otherwise known as Fraud, Waste, Abuse, DLA. Alright, I hope you're ready to get mad because I'm about to show you what I've been having to deal with over the last about almost a year with trying to get some of these vehicles released. What basically has happened is I'm trying to figure out why out of 30 vehicles that are authorized to be released by the DOD, DLA and all that, why out of 30 of them, only 4 are being released. Now, here's the thing, you might not know this, but out of the 4 that are getting released, just out of these 4, nearly $100 million has been returned to the DLA, DOD. $100 million out of 4. Imagine how much could be raised if all 30 were released. I've done the math. It's over $500 million. Don't believe me? I can supply the math. Really, I can. Alright. Basically, we're trying to keep trucks to go into this. Alright? They're pickup trucks. You know? I couldn't figure it out. Why all these pickup trucks were being crushed? Well, I'm going to show you my flow chart. Haven't showed too many people this stuff yet. Now, I've had to black out a couple of phone numbers, but if you really want them, email me and whatever, and I'll send them to you. Okay? So what happened was the vehicles are DMLC. DMLC means that they got to be destroyed, and they can sell the residue for them. Okay? What we were asking for is to go to Q or A. DML code Q or A. In that case, Ms. Susan Combs at GSA, she could donate them, and they'd go through the system, and then they'd be sold and recoup the money. Again, $500 million. If you're wondering about that, that's about 18 F-18s or enough rifles to completely re-equip the entire United States Army of M16s or the new SIG pistols. That's a lot of money. And keep in mind, this is just on trucks. We're not talking about the rest of the hundreds of thousands of things that DLA crushes every year, destroys, cuts in half, whatever, that you can go down to Walmart and buy. Makes no sense. They are crush happy, destroying happy, and every time they crush something, that's more tax money that's got to be raised either by denying benefits for soldiers or by raising taxes, because that's how they got to buy new equipment. All right, what we did was I did some research. You went to the DOD, the DML property officer, which is Jeff Garrett. Okay, Jeff Garrett. He told me, boom, point blank, that he has the ability to set DML code, and he has set DML code for all these trucks to see. And by the end of the year, every vehicle in the United States military will be DML code C at the first of the year next year, 2018. Which means no more donations to museums, fire departments, the police, or anything like that they can get. All right? He told me this, straight up, not afraid to say it. And he says that the reason why he had to do it was because the Department of Commerce and Department of State. Department of Commerce had it on the USML list, and Department of State had it on the CCL list. Sorry, my hands are tied. Went over to talk to Mr. Williams and Mr. Stoddard over at Department of Commerce. Had to do a commodities reclassification paperwork. And to do that, I had to go and get an export license. So I now have an export license with the Department of Commerce. I can export Humvees and all sorts of stuff. Okay, but what happened was, doing the USML challenge, we found out that the vehicles have been removed from the USML 4 years ago, dude. 4 years ago, okay? And in doing so, I had to go do all the paperwork that came around. Well, Jeff said, my buddy Jeff, he said, oh, can't do it because DTSA, the Defense Technical or whatever, it's Office of the Pentagon that puts rules for what can be sold and what can't be sold to the civilians. Okay, talked to them for 2 hours. He said I would never talk to them. They wouldn't listen to me. They wouldn't do nothing. 2 hours, not a problem. Talked to them with Department of Commerce, and then DTSA. They did a order, said that everything is ECCN 0 Alpha 606 Alpha, which means they can be exported, they can be sold, they can be done whatever with. The Department of Defense does not have to crush them at all, because every vehicle that is non-combat, non-armored, you can sell. Okay? Boom. And DITSA even said, you don't have to cut anything on the truck, you don't have to destroy anything, you don't have to do anything to it. As it comes from the factory, it's good to sell. So no more demo required. That's 1025s, that's everything except for the up-armored Humvees. We're not talking about them, are we? Nope. So, sent the paperwork back to Jeff Garrett. Well, I'm sorry, but you know, it's the State Department. That's what his thing was. So he moved from, it was the Department of Commerce mainly, to the Department of State because it was on the CCL list. Talked to Bob Warren over there at the Department of State. Bob Warren assured me and gave me paperwork that was not on the CCL. Period. Not on the CCL list anymore. So it doesn't have the export limits anymore. So I go to Jeff Garrett. Well, yeah, guess what? It wasn't his fault anymore. It was Mr. Nate Barnes up at DLA. His words out of his mouth was Nate Barnes up at DLA Distro in Grand Rapids was not doing his job. He was lazy on his job, not doing his job because he could go through and reclassify the stuff. C1, the Q, no problem. Okay? Mr. Nate Barnes, I got to talk to him for about 30 seconds. Alright? He said, well, I'm not comfortable talking to you and all this because legal's got to get involved and everything. Alright, but what he did was he called the state of Texas to try to get me arrested because I was evidently passing classified documents around or doing this or doing that, whatever. And all the information he got was from Jeff Garrett. So Jeff Garrett and him were talking back and forth, and he took it upon himself to call the state of Texas to try to get me arrested. Now, he finally said, Nate Barnes finally sends me a letter, says, well, I could, but it's DLA lawyers, can't do anything. Lawyers said no because C1 is considered residue, I guess. That's what I was being alluded to. So you can't sell residue as trucks and everything. So, by the way, I got an email from him saying it's Jeff Garrett's fault. Jeff Garrett sent me a letter or email saying it was Nate Barnes' fault. So you got these two emails going back and forth. Either one of these could reclassify the trucks, evidently. But since Jeff Garrett put on there all the restrictions, the poison pills, Nate's not going to touch it. So it comes back. Nate Barnes didn't do it. Well, Jeff Garrett, not talking to him again, say, look, what's going on? Why can't you do it? Well, all of a sudden, it's Mr. Hoffman Sinclair's problem. Because he tells me that Hoffman and Sinclair are the reason why these trucks aren't getting out there. These guys are at the email office at TACOM. They don't set policy. Jeff Garrett sets policy. I talk to them. One guy explodes on me, and he yells at me so loud that, you know, it was like he had to call me back 30 minutes later and apologize. So far, let's recap. Jeff Garrett said that it's Department of Commerce, Department of State, DLA legal. At one point he said it was DOD legal. I talked to DOD legal, they said, he sets the DML code, sell them. So far we've gone all the way around. He tried to bring up the fact that they are armored. They're not armored. They're not level 3 armor. We're not talking about up-armored vehicles. AM General, they were talking to AM General about it. He brought up that AM General had to have some input on it. AM General said they haven't had input in these vehicles in 10 years. Finally, like Mr. Hoffman, he tells me that I have to go through TACOM to get the manual, the guys that wrote the manual, to change the manual and say it's not armored. These guys are all retired. So eventually he admits that all he's doing is going off what Mr. Garrett said. He can't change anything because that's what's going on here. Now, went through TACOM, comes back here. If you notice anything, all these arrows go out and come back to one person. I'm not saying who, but this guy right here is the reason that I've been able to find out that these vehicles are getting crushed. Okay, and that is a bunch of, okay? Every time something comes up, he picks another reason why he can't scrap them. As soon as somebody disproves him or calls him a liar, proving him a liar, then he goes back and says, well, yeah, that's not a reason why. As a matter of fact, I talked to another governmental agency the other day that talked to him, and he's changed his tune again. Now he says it's the working group for the Obama executive order for disposition of former military equipment. And I've got that order right here, page 39 and 40. It's baloney. It says you can sell them. All right. So what I'm asking for is, we got a new colonel, or they got a new colonel at DLA, okay, distribution. His name is Colonel Hopper, okay? He just got in there. He talked to me last week. I asked him to, I left a message this morning saying I was going to make this video. Please call me and have some input on it. He has not contacted me this morning, and this is what I'm going to do. Colonel Hopper, please do your job and freeze all scraps sales of vehicles until an investigation is done on Mr. Jeff Garrett. 2, if you find that Mr. Garrett has abused his trust, please turn the report over to DCIS and suspend or fire him. The reason why is that's what you do. That's what you would do to an NCO under your command if he was doing the same thing. So what's the difference? And I'm waiting for your call. And for you, the taxpayer out there that's watching this, okay, A, watch all the videos that are on here. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a bunch of information. I'm not a professional speaker. I don't put together professional videos. Please watch all the videos. Subscribe. Like the videos. And call your congressman. The number's easy to Google and all that. And this is our money. This is your kids' money, okay? My daughter is going to have to pay for this stuff because every time they crush a vehicle, they go from a vehicle they can sell for up to $50,000 a piece to a vehicle they're selling for $250 a piece. That money, there's no problem with that money getting recovered. Everybody I talk to, everybody that knows this guy hates him, okay? From down here all the way up, everybody can't stand this guy. He was appointed by, or he was put in that position by an Obama appointee. He doesn't have a boss right now because the slot's empty. He's doing whatever he wants, and I have proof of that with a couple of emails and some letters he's put out. If anybody wants to see them, I don't have any problem showing them to him. And this guy is costing the DOD probably going to, within last year and this year, about $1 billion. One guy is going to cost DOD $1 billion. Okay? Imagine what the Kurds could do with that, or the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, how many missions they could do with that money. And it's real money. It's not, well, it's projected, whatever. This is real money. Third-party contractors would love to give these guys a check for that amount of money to be able to scrap these, or to sell these vehicles and not have them scrapped. So please, do me a favor. Watch the rest of the videos. Some are hilariously funny. Some of them are kind of stupid. But please watch the videos. It's your money. Now you know what's going on. You have this huge pile of around this one guy. My question is, why does he still have a job? This guy called the state of Texas. I guess you've never heard that little thing, don't mess with Texas. This guy, Nate Barnes, why does he still have a job? Just because you've been doing it that way for the last 8 years does not mean it keeps going on. If you're with me, please like this video, and please, please, please watch the rest of them and call your congressman, get involved. This is your kids' money that they're going to get. Because if they don't get this money, they're going to get it by cutting active duty benefits and taxing you more. So thank you very much. Have fun. Dave out.